नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं ईशल। मैं आप सभी का अपने चैनल techandtarget पर स्वागत करता हूं। दोस्तों, आज की वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं कैपजेमिनी इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ 2021 बैच। दोस्तों, ये इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस है रितेश का, जो कि सेलेक्ट हो चुके हैं एनालिस्ट प्रोफाइल के लिए। दोस्तों, वीडियो को आगे स्टार्ट करने से पहले आप सभी से मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है, इस वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में रितेश को बहुत बहुत बधाई दीजिए और वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में ऑल कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन भी लिखिए। दोस्तों, एक बात और बता दूं, ये इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस बाकी इंटरव्यू से काफी अलग है, क्योंकि इस इंटरव्यू में रितेश से एक भी क्वेश्चन इसके रिज्यूमे से नहीं पूछा था। तो आपको इस इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस में पता चलने वाला है कि कैसे आपको इंटरव्यू हैंडल करना है अगर कोई भी क्वेश्चन आपके रिज्यूमे से नहीं पूछा जाएगा, क्योंकि इनका इंटरव्यू बहुत लंबा चला है, आप देखोगे, और बहुत क्वेश्चन ऐसे पूछे हैं, थोड़े शॉकिंग आपको भी लगेंगे। तो दोस्तों, वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं। वीडियो को स्टार्ट करने से पहले दोस्तों, वीडियो को लाइक जरूर कर दीजिए, और अगर आपने अभी तक मेरे चैनल टेक एंड टारगेट को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो दोस्तों, टेक एंड टारगेट को जल्दी से जल्दी सब्सक्राइब भी कर दीजिए। तो दोस्तों, चलिए और देखते हैं रितेश का इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस।
Hi guys, today I'm here to share my Capgemini interview experience, and I'm student from electronics and communication background. So before starting this video, I would like to thank Anshul. This guy has really helped me a lot in achieving this. I started talking to him in the comment section. He replied me there. So he gave me his email ID, and in email ID he gave me his number, WhatsApp number, and then I contacted him, and then for past 1 month, me and him having a few conversations for Capgemini. So he has really helped me a lot. So guys, this interview is very much apart from all the interviews, because in this interview I was not being asked any questions from my CV. Yes, you heard this right, because my interview, I think, was the last. I was the last candidate to give the interview in my college. So I think all the interviewers were fed up of listening same thing and same thing. So I was the one who was facing this type of interview. I was not being asked a single question from my resume. I have put C, C plus, not C plus plus, sorry, C, Java, Python, and microprocessor and microcontroller in my CV, but I was not being asked a single question from this. And I've also mentioned 3 projects, but neither of any questions was not asked from neither of them. So, starting with the first question that he asked me was, "Do you have any girlfriends?" So I said no. So he then asked why. Why didn't you have a girlfriend? So I told him that yes, I want to focus more on career right now. So he was satisfied with that. So then he suddenly tells me, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, which is very important question as perspective to interview. So he asked me this question, but he also mentioned that don't be a parrot. Don't be a parrot like blah 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 blah. Don't, no, just say, just consider me as your friend, and then answer this question. So I was like, okay, I'll answer that. So when I started answering that, I was about telling 2 to 3 lines about my uh, college and about my schooling. Then he stopped me. He said, okay, okay, that's enough. Let's move on. So I was not, I have not completed my tell me about yourself completely. I was being interrupted after speaking 2 to 3 lines only. So the next, he said, do you have any projects? So I said, yes, I have done 2 mini projects. That is, first one is bank account creation, and the second one is restaurant billing system. And the third one was my final year BTech project that is based on microstrip antenna. So he asked me, do you have done any projects? I said yes. So he asked me, what does your bank account do? So I told him that it's a normal bank account. So he tried to be a little funny. So he cracked a joke on it that yes, I have hacked Switzerland bank account, and I've deposited all the monies, withdrawn all the monies from that bank and deposited in my bank. So he later said that he was doing this for comfortabling me, that he can make me feel comfortable. So the next question was from restaurant billing system. He just only asked, yesterday I ordered food from Uber Eats, and the cost of that food was 100, but they cost me 120. Why? The simple answer was, it was including GST and delivery charges. So again he asked me, is can't be there any fault in software? Are you so confident? I'm like, yes sir. If so, I answered that, yes sir, it was, if it's software fault, then it will be less than 100 or more than 120. So he was satisfied. Then the next question he asked was, what are your subjects in seventh semester? So I answered my subjects. So networking was one of the subjects in my seventh semester. So the next question he triggered was, what is networking? So I answered that. Then he asked how we can implement networking. I also answered that. So the next question he triggered was, what is switch? In this question, I was not quite sure, but I explained him one point of switch. So he was not satisfied, but he told me to explain one more point. But I said, sir, I don't know much about networking, but I have prepared microcontroller and microprocessor for my technical. So he was like, okay, okay, let's move on. So next he asked me, what are your hobbies? So I said, playing cricket. So he asked me, did you watch yesterday's match? So I said, yes, sir. Then who won the match? So I said, Delhi Capitals. Then he asked a analytical question, that why Virat Kohli's great form, and why did not RCB won the match? So it was like he was expecting the answer in team leader and team uh, leader and team member. In terms of these, he was expecting the answer. So I answered him in that context only, that it is not always about team leader, it is always the team player. Sometimes it should be team player who should always respond to the captain. So he was satisfied. Okay. Then next question he asked, who is your favorite cricketer? So I said Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And then he asked, but he is not able to win matches, not able to middle the bat, how can he be your favorite cricketer? So I answered about that he is having three cups, ICC cups in his cabinet, that no captain has now no captain has that. So he was okay. Then he asked, what is IP address? Again from networking. So I, at the time, I was losing my confidence, because he was again and again answering networking subjects. So he asked, what is IP address? So I directly told him, sir, I don't know IP address, you can ask me from other subjects like microprocessor. So okay. Then again, what is Wi-Fi? So I just gave him the full form, Wi-Fi fidelity. So he was smiling at me. So I'm like, okay, sir, I don't know the answer. So he was like, okay, okay, no worry. So then he asked, what is IEEE? That is IEEE, which is very famous among electrical and electronics, which is used to publish research papers. Okay, so I answered him that also. So he was like, okay, okay. So next he asked me about my family background, and I answered. And he answered question next was his next question was, how you are you independent? I answered yes. Then how have your evening tea? So I said no, sir. So he said, why? Go on. So I'm waiting. You can have your tea now. But no, sir. Right now I'm having my technical. So work comes first. He was expecting answers like this. So I gave him that too. So the next question, he asked me that any questions for me. So I asked a question based on Capgemini itself, that what are the technologies, if I get selected, what are the new technologies that Capgemini will train a fresher? So he answered that. So he told me that he will pass the my TR experience feedback to the HR, and HR will call me. So the after 1.5 hours, I was the HR call was there. So HR was like, okay. He was The first question he answered was, he asked, how was it TR? So at that time I was quite confident that the TR has mentioned my has seen my low confidence. So to trick this question, I answered him, yes, it was much above my expectations, as it was my first interview experience. So, and the interviewer were also very good. He was very much able to comfortable me. So he was okay, like, this is your first interview? So I answered yes, it is my first interview. So he was like, okay, okay. Then the question two was, have you done any NPTEL certification course? That is SWAYAM. Many of you, I think, don't know what is NPTEL. So you can, Anshul will tell you what is NPTEL. So it is about courses that is offered. Okay, so I answered yes, sir. Again, I tricked this question so that he can ask me questions from microprocessor. So I answered him yes. I have done courses in microprocessor. So, but he didn't question me from that also. So next question you asked, what are your skills that you are comfortable with? So I mentioned Java because I have done two projects based on Java, and my part was backend part. So I was very on confident with this. So next question he asked, are you aware of cloud computing? I answered yes. Then he asked me, can you explain me? So I explained him what is cloud computing all about. Then he questioned, what is AWS? Do you know? I told no, sir, I don't know AWS. And then he answered, what is ML? Do you know? I said yes. So he told me to explain. So I explained ML. The next question he asked was how your lockdown experience. So this is a very important question for everyone who is now sitting for an interview in any company. You should always be prepared for this answer because it is a very important question and every company will ask this question. So try to be unique in this. Don't say just you just upgraded your skills. Try to be more creative. So I rather told him that I upgraded my skills in lockdown, but I also discover a new hobby that is reading books. So he asked me about what books did you read? So I answered a book that is Robin Sharma, 5 a.m. Club. So he asked me to explain that book's content, what that book is all about. So I explained him. He asked, "Are you implementing that things in your real life?" So I answered, "Yes, sir, but right now I'm not that much with that things, but I'm trying to implement that." So he was like, "Okay." Then he asked family background. What is a family background? Then he asked which book you recently and all those things. And then he asked any questions for me. So I again asked a question which is very mandatory for any all of you. You should always ask questions from TR and HR. This portrays an image that yes, you are very much interested in their company and you will not leave their company. So that's all from my side. So here you can see I was not asked question from my CV. So always be prepared for your worst. Never expect anything from the interviewer. So all the best to you all guys. And Anshul, thank you again, yaar. Thank you very much.